New York City, a bustling metropolis known for its iconic skyline, vibrant culture, and endless opportunities. But beneath the surface of this urban jungle lies a persistent problem that has plagued its residents and visitors for decades: the city that never sleeps. Its streets are always alive with the hum of activity, day and night. From the bright lights of Times Square to the serene paths of Central Park, New York City is a place of constant motion. But it's also the city that never moves. Traffic congestion has become an inescapable part of life here. During rush hours, the streets turn into a sea of honking cars, frustrated drivers, and endless gridlock. Traffic in Manhattan is a nightmare. The narrow streets and high volume of vehicles create a perfect storm for congestion. Commuters find themselves stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, often moving at a snail's pace. It's slow, it's congested, and it's incredibly frustrating. The daily grind of navigating through this traffic takes a toll on everyone, from delivery drivers to office workers, and even tourists trying to explore the city. For years, politicians and city planners have been trying to find a solution to this problem. They've held countless meetings, reviewed numerous traffic studies, and proposed various initiatives to alleviate the congestion. They've tried everything from expanding public transportation, hoping that more people would opt for the subway or buses instead of driving, to encouraging people to bike to work, creating dedicated bike lanes and promoting cycling as a healthier and more sustainable mode of transportation, but nothing seemed to work. Despite their best efforts, the traffic woes persisted. The streets remained clogged and the frustration continued to mount. The traffic just kept getting worse. Each year, the number of vehicles on the road increased, and the gridlock became more severe. It seemed like an unsolvable puzzle. And then they came up with a new idea: congestion pricing. A bold and controversial plan aimed at reducing traffic by charging drivers a fee to enter the busiest parts of the city during peak hours. The hope is that this will discourage unnecessary trips and encourage the use of alternative transportation methods. Congestion pricing is a simple idea. It's a strategy used by cities around the world to manage traffic and reduce pollution. You charge people a fee to drive into the busiest parts of the city during peak hours. This fee acts as a deterrent, encouraging drivers to reconsider their travel plans. The idea is that if you make it more expensive to drive, people will find other ways to get around. They might opt for public transportation, carpooling, biking, or even walking. New York City's plan was to charge drivers $9 to enter Manhattan south of 60th Street during peak hours. This area is known for its heavy traffic and bustling streets. The money raised from the congestion charge would be used to fund improvements to the city's public transportation system. This means better buses, subways, and other transit options for everyone. It seemed like a good idea. With fewer cars on the road, traffic would flow more smoothly and commuting times would be reduced. It would reduce traffic, improve air quality, and make the city a more livable place. Cleaner air means healthier residents and a more pleasant environment for everyone, but not everyone was happy about it. Some people felt that the congestion charge was unfair, particularly to those who couldn't afford the extra cost or had no alternative but to drive. Small business owners worried that the charge would deter customers from coming into the city, affecting their sales and livelihoods. Delivery drivers and service providers also expressed concerns about the added expense. City officials held numerous meetings and discussions to address these concerns. They explored various exemptions and discounts to make the plan more equitable. They looked at examples from other cities like London and Stockholm, where congestion pricing had been successfully implemented. These cities saw significant reductions in traffic and improvements in air quality. The hope was that New York City could achieve similar results. By reducing the number of cars on the road, the city could become a more pleasant place to live, work, and visit. Environmental activists and public transportation advocates supported the plan, seeing it as a crucial step towards a more sustainable and efficient urban environment. After much debate and consideration, the City Council voted in favor of the congestion pricing plan. The mayor signed the bill, marking a significant milestone in the city's efforts to tackle traffic congestion and pollution. The implementation of congestion pricing is just the beginning. The ultimate goal is to create a city that is not only less congested, but also more vibrant, healthy, and sustainable for future generations. Enter the Trump administration. In February 2025, U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy sent a letter to New York Governor Kathy Hochul. The letter was short and to the point. The Trump administration was ending New York City's congestion pricing program. Just like that, the plan was dead. Duffy argued that the program was unfair to working-class Americans. He said that it would make it too expensive for them to drive into the city. But was that really the reason? Duffy claimed that congestion pricing would disproportionately impact working-class Americans who rely on their cars to commute into the city. He argued that these individuals often lack access to reliable public transportation options. However, proponents of congestion pricing argued that the revenue generated from the program would be directly reinvested in improving public transportation. This, they argued, would ultimately benefit working-class commuters by providing them with more efficient and affordable transportation options. Duffy also argued that the congestion pricing plan was unfair to drivers who already pay gas taxes and other fees. He emphasized that these drivers are already contributing significantly to the city's revenue through various forms of taxation. According to Duffy, adding another layer of financial burden on these individuals would be excessive and unjust. He pointed out that many of these drivers rely on their vehicles for their daily commute, work, and other essential activities. For them, driving is not a luxury but a necessity. He said that these drivers were being double taxed. The existing gas taxes and tolls are already a significant expense for many. Duffy argued that the congestion pricing plan would disproportionately affect middle and lower-income drivers who cannot afford to live closer to their workplaces. He also mentioned that public transportation options are not always viable for everyone, especially those living in areas with limited access to reliable transit services. However, supporters of congestion pricing pointed out that drivers who choose to drive into the most congested areas of the city during peak hours contribute disproportionately to traffic congestion and air pollution. They argued that these drivers are making a choice to drive in these areas despite knowing the high levels of congestion. By doing so, they are adding to the problem and should therefore bear some of the costs associated with mitigating it. Supporters also highlighted the environmental impact of heavy traffic. The exhaust fumes from the numerous vehicles contribute significantly to air pollution, which has adverse effects on public health and the environment. They argued that congestion pricing could serve as a deterrent, encouraging people to seek alternative modes of transportation, such as public transit, biking, or walking. This shift could lead to a reduction in traffic congestion and an improvement in air quality. They argued that it was only fair for these drivers to pay a premium for the privilege of driving in these areas. The revenue generated from congestion pricing could be used to fund public transportation projects, road maintenance, and other initiatives aimed at improving the overall transportation infrastructure. This, in turn, could benefit all residents, including those who do not drive. By investing in better public transit and infrastructure, the city could create a more efficient and sustainable transportation system for everyone. Section 6. Political roadblocks. The Trump administration's decision to end congestion pricing was widely seen as a political move. President Trump had long been opposed to the plan. He even called it a disaster. Some people believe that Trump's opposition to the plan was motivated by the fact that he owns a number of properties in Manhattan. These properties would have been located within the congestion pricing zone. Section 7. Hochul's gamble. Governor Hochul had delayed the implementation of congestion pricing until after the 2024 presidential election. She was worried that the plan would hurt Democrats in the election. Hochul's decision to delay the program was seen as a gamble. She was betting that Democrats would win the election and that she would be able to implement congestion pricing after the election. Section 8. The Trump factor. However, Trump's victory in the election meant that congestion pricing was doomed. Trump had made it clear that he would not allow the plan to go forward. And he was true to his word. Duffy's letter to Hochul was the final nail in the coffin. Section 9. A city in limbo. The Trump administration's decision to end congestion pricing was a major setback for New York City. The city is now facing a number of challenges, including traffic congestion, air pollution, and a crumbling public transportation system. Without congestion pricing, it is unclear how the city will address these challenges. One thing is for sure, the traffic in New York City is not going to get any better anytime soon.